If you're looking for a small format three-way speaker, you're in the right place. The HEADD Type 20 Mark II might be the speaker you're looking for. Hi, I'm Ed Thorne, a mixing and mastering engineer in London. It's good to see you. The HEADD Type 20 Mark IIs are a near-field three-way speaker for desktops and meter bridges, with a host of customizable features to tailor the sound to your needs. Featuring a 7-inch honeycomb woofer, a 4-inch honeycomb mid-driver, and HEADD's air motion transformer, the Type 20s deliver a frequency range from 32 to 40 kHz. The founder of HEADD Audio, Klaus Heinz, who also founded Adam Audio, studied with the German physicist Oscar Heil, who invented the air motion transformer. He has since updated the design and integrated it into HEADD speakers. The air motion transformer corrugated diaphragm design works at a 4:1 ratio of moving air efficiency compared to a standard ribbon tweeter, which works at a 1:1 ratio. AMT drivers deliver a fast transient response, low distortion even at high volumes, and high levels of detail. The crossovers are at 250 and 3200 Hz, which gives each driver a comfortable operating window for maximum driver efficiency and dynamic range. Three-way speakers benefit from extended low-end and high-end frequency content compared to a two-way with a wider dispersion in all directions. Typically in a speaker, the bass driver is slower to start its forward and backwards movement due to its size, weight, and the nature of magnet-driven voice coils. Being slower than the smaller and lighter and therefore more agile mid-driver and tweeters usually means the low-end content is delivered to your listening position later than the top end. Naturally, the more drivers in a speaker array, the more difficult it is to time align the signal from each driver, which can lead to phase discrepancies in the listening position. The importance of accurate phase cannot be stressed enough. Accurate phase coherence delivers a strong phantom center wide stereo imaging, sharp transient details such as peak attack, more defined reverb tails, and general clarity most audibly in the top end. The HEADD Type 20 Mark IIs feature a custom 32-bit resolution 96 kHz Shark digital signal processor operating a feature head called the Lineariser. This is a high-resolution, zero-phase filter designed to eliminate time delays between the three drivers, adding 10 milliseconds of latency to the signal path. Whilst most DSP monitors allow you to correct amplitude or EQ response, they don't often control phase response and alignment. As well as the aforementioned benefits of accurate phase, the Lineariser immediately focuses the sound and tightens up the detail. It appears to narrow the stereo image, but this is in fact delivering a more accurate representation of the stereo width, whilst controlling the three drivers, which when out of phase will sound unrealistically wide. The Lineariser is effectively facilitating better mix translation, and it baffles me why more brands aren't offering this feature. The next interesting feature of the HEADD Type 20s is the inclusion of a reflex port, which can also be plugged. A port-shaped plug is provided with each speaker with a detachable screw for insertion and removal of the plug. A selector switch on the back of the speaker alters the speaker's performance according to each setting. An open port allows for air pressure created by the moving low-frequency driver to escape from the cabinet. This design is often used to achieve a lower frequency extension by manipulating the turbulent air in the port pathway to induce harmonics related to the fundamental lowest frequency of the cabinet. The result is a thicker and harmonically rich low end, albeit not as tight and accurate as a closed cabinet design. The closed port setting delivers a tighter bass response with a little less weight and low-end extension. But HEADD have also introduced a bass extension mode for increased sub-frequency delivery. This comes at the expense of overall output, but with a maximum SPL of 120 decibels in normal mode you have tons of volume to play with. These speakers are freaking loud and don't even hint they might start distorting until horribly uncomfortable volumes, by which time the red overload light on the front is flickering, telling you to stop being an idiot. There are high and low shelving filters and an option to implement a high-pass filter at 80 Hz for use with a subwoofer. I've settled on a closed port configuration with no bass extension or EQ filtering, preferring to leave this processing to Trinnov Nova. It is well documented that optimizing the sound of your speakers requires addressing the room acoustics and treating your first reflection points, such as your walls on either side and the ceiling above your listening position. In addition, the influence that desk reflections have on the quality of your audio cannot be understated. The signal reflected off your desk arrives at your ears later than the original signal directly from the speakers due to the additional distance it has to travel. This can cause comb filtering, frequency nulling, and time delays, causing phase discrepancies which will degrade the clarity of your audio further. Whilst the speaker can't combat the sound barrier interference response in your room, the HEADD Type 20 Mark IIs can filter out the most problematic desk reflection frequency to minimize comb filtering and phase issues. The heads have built-in desk reflection filters for small, medium, and large format desks, which equates to reductions of -1, -2, and -4 decibels respectively at 180 Hz. Now, on my desk, the problematic frequency is actually 150 Hz, not 180, so it would be nice if HEADD offered different frequency options for this feature as well. The HEADD Type 20 Mark IIs offer analog XLR inputs as well as AES digital connections. By connecting your Type 20s via AES to your audio interface, you can bypass 2 rounds of unnecessary conversion. 1 round of D to A to convert the digital signal to analog to be sent from your interface to your speakers via XLR cable, and 1 stage of A to D conversion, converting the analog signal back into a digital signal for the speaker to process through its onboard DSP. Everything in the signal path between the computer and your ears is a filter, and using AES will minimize the amount of processing in your signal chain for a purer signal path. These are meaty and juicy sounding speakers. 3-way speakers in general disperse very widely in all directions, especially in this cross or T-shaped format. As a result, the stereo field is one of the widest I've heard. The phantom center is strong, and it's difficult to pinpoint where the audio is coming from in the room. And by that I mean the sound is not obviously coming from a speaker or a point source. I hear drums and vocals coming out of the air right in front of me, and hard-panned elements coming from outside of the speakers. The front to back depth of these speakers is the most impressive element for me. This is partly due to their excellent clarity, delivering a high level of detail, enabling you to identify reverb tails and delay transients, for example, accurately. The combination of stereo imaging, and the keyword really being imaging, and the depth of sound, you can easily identify sources in the 3D soundstage of the mix. Tonally, they're enjoyable speakers for listening to music, and the AMT driver is not fatiguing, like other brands of German speakers. At really excessive volumes on some songs, the upper mid-range can get a little pokey and uncomfortable, but I just doubt you're going to be mixing at those volumes. Coming in at just under $5,000 or £4,000 a pair, the HEADD Type 20 Mark IIs are not for the faint-hearted. But as with anything pro audio related, you most definitely get what you pay for. These are one of the best options at this price point. They deliver high-quality sound with useful and customizable features. They will be a noticeable improvement on speakers in the £1,000 to £1,500 price bracket, and whether you're a producer or a mix engineer, I highly recommend you at least audition them if you're looking to upgrade. As with all speaker options, only test them in your listening environment, in your studio. It is useless testing speakers in an unfamiliar room with different acoustics, so don't go to music shops and do this. Get a retailer to bring them to your room. You will not get an accurate representation of how they will perform in your space. On that bombshell, I've been Thorne. Terrible. Ed Thorne. It's been emotional. Subscribe for my video on the Tantrum Angry boxes coming next. Click the links below for a free mastering sample. And if you want to purchase any of your home studio equipment, purchasing through these links really helps support the channel. If you found value in this video, be kind to one another, and I'll see you on the next one. Ed Thorne.